Gentleman from Richmond City.
Thank you, Mr.
McClellan.
Speaker. Senate Bill 1495 was the trailing spouses bill. The governor's amendments do a couple of things. They enact 2 of the 4 provisions that were set out in the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act that would enable Virginia to take advantage of an additional $125.5 million in federal stimulus dollars for unemployment insurance compensation. These provisions concern part-time workers and additional benefits for individuals who are in certain types of training. First, the part-time workers. The governor's amendment would allow part-time workers to meet the availability requirement for Virginia unemployment compensation by looking for only part-time work if, during a majority of the weeks worked during their base period, they worked part-time hours. They would still be required to actively look for work and be willing to accept work that was comparable to their previous work and would not be disqualified for refusing an offer of full-time work. These workers would still have to meet the minimum qualifying earnings requirement of $2,700 in 2 quarters of their base period to demonstrate a genuine attachment to the labor force. This amendment recognizes the way that employment in our workforce have changed over the past 70 years. We are no longer a manufacturing-based economy. We are now more of a service-based economy. And many, many more jobs are part-time or temporary in nature. When our unemployment insurance laws were first put into place, we had a lot more full-time jobs because they were the full-time manufacturing jobs. But that is not the way our economy is going. We've become much more service-oriented. And many more businesses are offering part-time work as a way to consolidate their workforce. For the additional benefits part, the amendments would allow up to an additional 26 weeks of benefits to certain individuals who are in training authorized by the Workforce Investment Act or approved by the VEC under a particular section of the code. The additional benefits would be provided to those individuals who are enrolled in improved training, provided that they had been separated from a declining occupation or laid off because of a permanent reduction in operations by the individual's employer, and the training is designed to prepare the individual for entry into a high-demand occupation, and the individual is making satisfactory progress in their training. These additional benefits will provide many workers with the income they need to meet their basic living expenses while they complete training for entry into high-demand occupations. Without these additional benefits, a number of workers may never enter or complete these training programs, which would allow them to reposition themselves from one type of industry they may have worked in into one that we have high demand for at the moment. Mr. Speaker, we have 76,000 reasons to support these amendments. 76,000. That is the total number of jobs lost in Virginia since this recession began. To localize this a little bit, that's over 10,000 jobs in Fairfax County. And, you know, I don't need to tell you that our unemployment rate right now in Virginia has almost doubled. And to localize that a little bit, in Carroll County, unemployment is now at 11.8%. In Grayson County, it's 11.5%. Halifax County, 12.2%. Pennsylvania, 11.4%. Wythe County, 10.7%. You have Danville, above 20%. These are people who are hurting, who are looking to us to help them at a time when without fault of their own, they've lost their job and they are unable, in many cases, to pay their bills. Now, I received an email from one such person in the Richmond area. Many Richmond citizens have lost their jobs, no longer have health coverage, and cannot afford COBRA. They are turning to free medical care provided by such nonprofit organizations as Crossover Ministry. Unemployed people are in crisis, and federal stimulus funds could help greatly. Now, there have been a couple of concerns raised with these amendments and what impact they could have on our unemployment insurance system. I've heard that rejecting the federal stimulus money is just part of making a tough decision that will free businesses and entrepreneurs to invest in job creation and more opportunities. Mr. Speaker, I would submit the opposite is true. Accepting these federal stimulus dollars will help to boost consumer demand in our lagging economy, which can only help businesses. If you can't pay your bills because you are unemployed and you can't get unemployment insurance, you will not spend the money needed to help other businesses stay in business. And we have many people who cannot pay their bills, who are working 3 jobs, 3 part-time jobs, because that's what they have to do to pay their bills. And yet these people, if they lose this part-time work, would be ineligible for unemployment insurance. Now, Moody's Investor Services has found that for every dollar spent in unemployment insurance, $1.64 in new economic activity is created, which boosts our economy and helps to ensure people stay employed. People who are getting these benefits have spent it on food and clothing and other necessities of life at local businesses. And those businesses, in turn, hire the staff to stock the shelves, make the sales, pay the vendors, and play a role in bringing the economy back on track. Now, I've also heard that we need to reject this stimulus money in order to foster a positive, pro-growth environment. Again, the opposite is true. By using federal dollars to help families facing unemployment, we keep them off of the public rolls in other ways. We keep them off public assistance, such as TANF, Medicaid, and food stamps. I've also heard that if we adopt these amendments, we will be permanently saddled with the cost of these new benefits when the federal dollars run out. Well, I recall the same thing was said, something similar was said about proposed budget amendments dealing with the way we fund support personnel. And I heard on this floor, nothing we do in the General Assembly is permanent. Nothing we do is permanent. And if after the federal dollars go away, we can reevaluate whether these changes are needed anymore, whether they have proved effective. And if they have not, we can change them. Mr. Speaker, I urge you to adopt the governor's amendments because, again, people in Virginia are hurting and need us to take a stand to help them. Thank you.